and they're eating, and the guy was like, you know what? I think I'll try and take advantage of the situation. So he kisses his girlfriend. No reaction. Not a word. And then he's like, maybe I can take this a little further. So he grabs his girlfriend's tits. No reaction. And then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go all the way. So he starts fucking his girlfriend right on the kitchen table. Still, nobody says a word. And then the father is absolutely pissed off now. And the mom is just, freaking out, And then he looks at the mom and he's like, she's pretty hot. So then he starts to fuck her on the table. And then suddenly, he hears lightning from outside, and he's like, and he thinks, oh my gosh, the bike. He pulls out the bottle, the little tin of Vaseline, and then the dad's like, all right, that's enough. I'll do the damn dishes.
I'm sorry, I totally missed that joke. It just flew right over my head.
You know the difference between a blonde and a hamster?
Blonde joke.
What's the difference between a blonde and a hamster?
Nothing.
A blonde won't explode when you fuck it.
Okay, listen. This blonde cop stops a blonde driver and asks for identification. The blonde driver looks all around at a person and can't find her license. I must have left it at home, officer. Well, do you have any kind of identification on you? Asks the cop. Blonde takes out a pocket mirror and says, I do have this picture of me. Let me see it, says the cop. She holds up the mirror and looks in it. Then she says, sorry, if I had known you were a police officer, I wouldn't have stopped you.
I've heard that one before. Alright, honey, I found your golf ball. A man staggers into an emergency room with a concussion, multiple bruises, 2 black eyes, and a 5-iron wrapped tightly around his throat. Naturally, the doctor asks him what happened. Well, it's like this, said the man. I was having a quiet round of golf with my wife when, at a different hole, we both sliced our balls into a pasture of cows. We went to look for them, and while I was rooting around, noticed one of the cows had something white at its rear end. I walked over and lifted up the tail, and sure enough, there was a golf ball with my wife's monogram on it, stuck right in the middle of the cow's butt. That's when I made my first mistake. What did you do? Asked the doctor. Well, I lifted the cow's tail again and yelled to my wife, hey, this looks like yours. I don't remember much after that.
Ew, that's disgusting, by the way.
Turner Brown. Kramer goes into an elevator, looks up and sees this great big huge guy standing next to him. The big guy sees the little guy staring at him, looks down and says, 7 feet tall, 350 pounds, 20-inch penis, testicles 3 pounds each, Turner Brown. Kramer just faints dead away and falls to the floor. The big dude kneels down and brings him to by slapping his face and shaking him. He says, are you okay? In a very weak voice, Kramer says, excuse me, but what did you just say to me? The big dude says, when I saw the curious look in your face, I just figured I'd give you the answers to the questions everyone asked me. I'm 7 feet tall, weigh 350 pounds, have a 20-inch penis, my testicles weigh 3 pounds each, and my name is Turner Brown. Kramer said, oh, thank God, I thought you said turn around.
Are you okay?
That's awesome. That was a great joke.
No.
He lost his mind.
Dude,
Deer for dinner.
Lost.
Oh, my mind has been lost. Deer for dinner. A rural family was given some venison from a friend. The wife carefully prepared deer steaks and served it to her husband and their children. The husband thought it would be fun to have the children guess what they were eating for dinner. Is it beef, the daughter Julie asked. Nope. Is it pork, the son Will asked. Nope. Heck, we don't know, Dad, Will explained. I'll give you a clue, the husband said. It's what your mom sometimes calls me. Spit it out, Will, Julie cried. Julie, we're eating asshole. Oh, that was a good one.
Okay, how about we think of something not explicit?
Okay, fine. Do you know the true reason for all of the blonde jokes?
Why?
Because blondes suck.
Brunettes and redheads think they look smart making them all up.
Mm. Tickle me Elmo.
Blondes are stupid.
What?
Blondes are stupid.
There's a factory in eastern Wisconsin.
We don't know about redheads.
Mm. There's a factory in eastern Wisconsin that the Tickle Me Elmo toys. In case you didn't know, the toy laughs when you tickle it under the arms. Well, Lena is hired at the Tickle Me Elmo factory, and she reports for her first day promptly at 8 a.m. The next day at 8:45 a.m., there is a knock at the personal manager's door. The foreman throws open the door and begins to rant about the new employee. He complains that she is incredibly slow, and the whole line is backing up, putting the entire production line behind schedule. The personnel manager decides he should see this for himself, so the two men march down to the factory floor. When they get there, the line is so backed up that there are Tickle Me Elmos all over the factory floor, and they're really beginning to pile up. At the end of the line stands Lena, surrounded by mountains of Tickle Me Elmos. She has a roll of plush red fabric and a huge bag of small marbles. The two men watch in amazement as she cuts a little piece of fabric, wraps it around two marbles, and begins to carefully soothe the little package between Elmo's legs. The personnel manager bursts into laughter. After 7 minutes of hysterics, he pulls himself together and approaches Lena. "I'm sorry," he says to her, barely able to keep a straight face, "but I think you misunderstood the instructions I gave you yesterday. Your job was to give Elmo 2 testicles." Testicles, you know, testicles.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Oh my god.
Dude, that was a
I found
good
the
joke.
site.
You're just stupid.
Dude, I found the exact site where you read that from.
I'm not giving it up.
I found it right
Mine.
here.
User
Really?
YouTube
What's it-
I'm
channel.
serious. Yes, I found it.
What is it?
I found it.
What's
right
the site?
I found the site that I have is www.owensworld.com jokes/read258.htm.
Nope, wrong
User
site.
disconnected from
Okay,
user channel.
the mortician's wife. A mortician was working late one night. It was his job to examine the dead bodies before they were sent off to be buried or cremated. As he examined the body of Mr. Sam, who was about to be cremated, he made an amazing discovery. Sam had the longest private part he had ever seen. "I'm sorry, Mr. Sam," said the mortician, "but I can't send you off to be cremated with a tremendously huge private part like this. It has to be saved for posterity." Posterity, okay. And with that, the coroner used his tool to remove the dead man's disgusting member. The coroner stuffed his prize into a briefcase and took it home. The first person he showed was his wife. "I have something to show you that you won't believe," he said, and opened his briefcase. "Oh my God," she screamed, "Sam is dead!"
I get it. Does no one else get that? Seriously? No one else
I
gets
get
that?
it.
Then
Yeah.
how could-
That's like stupid.
Wow.
That was a good fucking joke. Okay, breakfast
Actually,
is
I
kicking.
find it hilarious.
Exactly.
If you know, it's the people that dead laugh are idiots.
Exactly.
Or nothing can make them laugh.
A little
I guess
boy
it's
comes
not-
down. A little boy comes
User
down to
disconnected
breakfast.
from
Since
your
his
channel.
family lives on a farm, his mother asks if he has done his chores. "Not yet, Mama," said the little boy. His mother tells him no breakfast until he does his chores. Well, he's a little pissed, so he goes to feed the chickens, and he kicks a chicken. He goes to feed the cow, and he kicks a cow. He goes to feed the pigs, and he kicks a pig. He goes back in for breakfast, and his mother gives him a bowl of dry cereal. "How come I don't get any eggs and bacon? Why don't I have any milk in my cereal?" he asks. "Well," his mother says, "I saw you kick a chicken, so you don't get any eggs for a week. I saw you kick the pig, so you don't get any bacon for a week either. I also saw you kick a cow, so for a week you aren't getting any milk." Just then, the father comes down from